Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Guzman. I'm a triple board certified physician in sleep medicine and obesity medicine with specialized training in mind-body medicine. Today, I want to talk about how to calm your nervous system so that things start to feel easier. We're going to keep it both evidence-based and practical. So if you've ever felt tired but wired, anxious for no reason, emotionally reactive, irritable, stuck in procrastination, or stuck in overwhelm and overthinking, if you feel like you know what to do, but your body and your mind maybe just don't want to cooperate sometimes, I want you to hear this very clearly, and that's that you're not alone, you're not lazy, you're not broken. Your nervous system might just be dysregulated. And the good news is that this is changeable. Our nervous system, our brain has neuroplasticity capability, meaning it can change. We can rewire our brain patterns that may seem like it's just part of our personality. But if we bring awareness to the way that our brain talks to us, the way that we talk to ourselves, and that we notice and feel our experience, we can notice how our nervous system may be helping us, but sometimes may not be helping us and may be keeping us stuck. So our nervous system has neuroplasticity. It can change, it can heal. Today, I'm going to explain to you what's happening in the nervous system, neuroscience-wise, and I'll give you a set of evidence-based tools that you can actually use so that your life starts to feel easier. So you can think of your nervous system like an advanced alarm system. It's constantly scanning the environment, looking for safety or danger, even when we're not thinking about it. Our nervous system is our survival mechanism. So it detects threat, whether it's real or perceived, whether it's actual in our environment or the fearful and stressful thoughts in our head and our brain. And our nervous system detects that. And it turns on the fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system. That's the urgency, the I must act, I must react, otherwise I could be in danger. When it detects safety, the parasympathetic system turns on, and that's guided by the vagus nerve. And it tells us to rest and digest. It's our recovery, our connection nervous system. And so these two systems go hand in hand to regulate the activation state and the recovery and the rest state. We also have a third nervous system, which is the enteric nervous system, and that's the nervous system in our gut, where most of our serotonin, one of our brain neurotransmitters, are made. 90% of serotonin is made in the gut. So needless to say, our sympathetic response and our gut are intimately connected. And so sometimes when we're stressed, we feel it in our belly. We may feel nauseous, we're not hungry, we lose our appetite. We may even have to run to the bathroom when we're in a state of anxiety or stress. So that's how our body is all connected. And chronic stress, trauma, whether that's personal trauma, societal trauma, uncertainty, or the nonstop modern life that we're currently living in, it can leave our nervous system stuck in that alarm mode. Even when we're objectively safe in this moment, we may feel as a collective that there's a threat, that there is uncertainty. And that may look like an elevated arousal state, anxiety, overwhelm, overthinking. It starts to impact our body's physiology. So our heart rate variability goes down. And that is how our parasympathetic state decreases and allows our body to come back to recovery. So our heart rate goes up in response to the fight or flight sympathetic nervous system, and it's meant to go down and regulate the heart rate through the rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system. So the ability of your heart rate to go back down, the heart rate variability, is a marker of parasympathetic nervous system, your ability of your body to calm down after an acute stress response. How do we feel that stress? It may show up as dysregulation in hormones. It may show up as physical anxiety, overthinking, stress in our mind, or it may show up as a symptom, chronic fatigue, sleep disruption, insomnia, difficulty sticking to our habits, and difficulty making the changes that we've been trying to make. So our body is working, our brain is working overtime trying to protect us. And at the same time, we may feel symptoms that we feel like my body's working against me. Like it's not helping me achieve what I want to do. It's giving me all these symptoms of pain, of fatigue, of exhaustion, of brain fog. And we start to resent what our body is telling us. So I want to talk about the different markers of our nervous system state and how we can start to support what our body is telling us and listen to those signals in a way that supports us and helps us navigate that stress response to come back to a more regulated state. Patients ask me all the time, what does my HRV or my heart rate variability mean? The higher that the HRV is, the more variability in the heart rate. That means you have a strong vagal tone. Your parasympathetic nervous system can be activated well to bring the heart rate down. So you have better recovery, more flexibility in your nervous system regulation. If our heart rate variability, HRV, is low, that means we have less of that regulatory response. We have more of a dominance of the fight or flight system and more difficulty with resilience and navigating that stress response to get back to a state of recovery. So the HRV reflects how well our prefrontal cortex, the regulatory part of the brain, can calm the amygdala, which is that threat detector, the fight or flight fear detector. And so this is how our brain is wired to navigate our state. So how do we feel the dysregulation in our body? It may be felt as symptoms and it impacts our experience, right? So maybe anxiety. Our amygdala, the fight or flight part of our brain, is causing us to be worried, to be in hypervigilance, to be tense, to be irritable. It may show up as insomnia. Sleep requires our parasympathetic nervous system to be active, our rest and digest system. So if our system is in that fight or flight mode, we're going to feel like maybe our brain is not able to shut down when we're trying to sleep. Our body may be resting or trying to rest, but our brain is going. We may experience fatigue, and that's from the chronic fight or flight, which is very metabolically expensive. It's exhausting to be constantly worried, constantly overthinking. It burns through a lot of energy. And if we can't shift into recovery, we can't recharge fully. So that's where behavior change becomes really hard. When we're dysregulated, our executive, our logical part of our brain decreases in its function. So under stress, we suddenly have all these things that drive our behavior, whether it's craving sugar, doom scrolling, procrastinating, or feeling like we just can't get it together. And so we want to kind of notice when that's happened, because it's not a state of we're not good enough. It's not a moral failure. It's not that we're not doing what we need to be doing. It's that we're dysregulated. And so if we start to pay attention to how we're dysregulated and what is causing that, then we can start to heal from the inside out. Our nervous system, thankfully, responds to repetition. That's what most of us don't realize, or it takes a long time for us to realize. It's not a one and done that we regulate. We can't meditate once and consider ourselves healed. Our nervous system didn't get dysregulated overnight. It happened over years and years of repetition, of negative thinking, of stress, of worry, of anxiety. And so it doesn't re-regulate overnight either. Neuroplasticity happens through repetition. And that means showing up day in and day out. Think of it like learning a new instrument, right? You don't learn to play guitar in one sitting. You learn a few chords and then you practice and then you practice. And over time, it feels less awkward and less silly. It starts to make sense. So it takes weeks, it takes months, it takes maybe even years. One key principle to take away is that practice when you're relatively calm, not just when you're in crisis. So that's how we build a capacity for the moment when we actually need it. This is something I'm still working on. I'm really good now at noticing when I'm overstretching myself, when I'm starting to get dysregulated, and I take action in that moment to regulate. But I'm less good at keeping myself regulated when I feel good. When we go about our life feeling good, we just want to feel good. We want to enjoy it. Inevitably, something will happen that will cause us to go into a state of stress again, because we can't escape stress, especially in modern life. So here's some evidence-based tools. I'm going to give you a toolkit, and I want you to think of this as signals of safety to your body. We're teaching the body, we're safe right now. We can calm down. So number one is slow breathing. This is one of the safest, most evidence-based ways to increase our vagal tone, to activate the rest and digest response. So we want to, for 5 minutes, notice our breath and inhale for 4 seconds and exhale for 6. Inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. We can immediately feel a shift in our shoulders and how the eyebrows feel tense, the cheeks or the jaw feel tense, and suddenly we feel that shift, that loosening. We can practice this anytime, whether you're sitting in traffic or you're in bed preparing to go to sleep. This is the I'm safe training for the nervous system. Number 2 is to use an HRV, heart rate variability feedback tool. And that could be, for example, a heart rate monitor. So biofeedback is when we can notice in a data point how our biology impacts certain data points. So for example, heart rate. When we slow our breath and we do the diaphragmatic breathing into our belly, and we do a few rounds of that, and slowing the exhale longer than the inhale, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And we can see actively in our heart rate a slowing down on the heart rate. That's biofeedback. You can also do this through meditations where we see that the blood flow can go back into the hands. When we're in a state of fight or flight, all of our blood flow is going into our internal organs. Our hands get cold and our feet get cold. We may meditate and notice a temperature sensor, and they sell these little biodots. We can see that the temperature color of those biodots changes because we're returning blood flow to our limbs because our body's getting out of that fight or flight response. Number 3 is mindfulness. And that would be 5 or 10 minutes of coming back to the present moment, relaxed awareness of the present moment. It's not just a mental exercise. It's a physiologic state that we can get into that increases our parasympathetic state and strengthens our ability to observe sensations, thoughts, and emotions without reacting. Being a gentle observer of what's going on and what's happening and using the state that you're in as information rather than something that's right or wrong. Instead of feeling, I need to fix this. My shoulders are tense, I need to fix it. We can start to notice, hey, I notice that my shoulders are tense. I can be with this. I wonder what my body is trying to tell me right now. I wonder what this means. Have I given myself space and tools today to relieve tension in other ways? This could also be a mindfulness meditation. It could be a walk outside, is what mindfulness is all about. Number 4 would be using a tool from cognitive behavioral therapy or acceptance and commitment therapy, noticing what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, and using the prefrontal cortex, the analytical part of our brain, to pay attention to the state that we're in. So when stress arises, we can say, I'm noticing that my nervous system is active, not I'm failing. I notice when my right eye starts twitching. I know that means I've been really stressed. I haven't had enough sleep. I haven't given myself enough time to regulate. And then I can start to ask, what is the smallest next best step? What is the smallest action that is aligned with how I want to feel, how I want to show up? What is the next best step I can take that is small? And maybe it means I can take one single walk without my phone, without any outside stimulation. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes. I'm going to send the one email rather than thinking I need to send 20 emails. I'm going to make some protein and I'm going to hydrate, and then I'll check in with myself. And we'll notice how our body starts to respond to whatever that small action was. Number 5, movement for regulation, not for punishment. Moving our bodies is one of the best ways we can regulate our nervous system. It can be intense exercise or it can be gentle yoga. Listen to what your body needs in every moment. It could be dancing. Moving your body helps move emotions and move stress through the body. I heard one of my mentors recently say, we forget that we have to metabolize emotions, metabolize stress. And moving is one of those activating metabolizers. And so walking is one of the best things we can do. Number 6, daily positive social contact. For biology, we are social creatures, and we underestimate it in this world where we can sit and be with technology all day and not have to talk to a single person. And sometimes that's helpful, but as a whole, if that is the day-to-day life, there's something that's going to be missing because social connection is key for nervous system regulation. It is medicine to the soul. High quality social interactions reduce stress hormones and support the parasympathetic vagal tone. Loneliness and isolation activate the stress response. And so how can you start to connect more? It can just be leaving a voicemail to a best friend or a family member. We stopped doing that after texts, but it can be really nice and warming to hear your loved one's voice just leaving you a kind, sweet message. It can be inviting a friend to dinner. It can be just say, hey, let's jump on a FaceTime and just let's talk about what's going on. Let's watch a show together. Just sit outside with a neighbor, join a supportive community, join the Dream Life community if you're on a health journey and you want to join like-minded individuals in supporting each other. And number 7 is to have safety cues and environmental cues that tell your body and your system that it's safe. So what can these look like? These can be a calm corner of your house that you have with soft lighting, books that you can read. It can be a consistent wind down routine. So you set up your environment to calm the nervous system, to start your body in the rest and digest state at night. It can be getting outside and watching nature and spending time with animals and seeing how easy they make it look to just go around their day doing what they do. So our environment is either turning our stress response up or it's turning it down. So pay attention to what your environment looks like. And the bonus one here is that our nutrition is not just about the things that we eat or what we put on our plate. It's the movies that we watch, the TV shows that we watch, the news that we watch, the media that comes in our feed. Pay attention to what that does to your body, because what we're consuming cognitively can activate emotions. And so if we're going to watch the news, we want to do that in the mornings. We don't want to do anything that's activating or give our nervous system activating content at night. So avoid social media when you're eating, avoid social media at night. Stop the screen 60 minutes before bed. Only 17% of us actually put our phones away within an hour of sleeping. Ask yourself when you're watching something or you're surrounded with a group, how is this making my body feel? What signals is my nervous system sending me about this? And let that be your guiding intuition as to what next step to take. Here's the truth. Your nervous system didn't become dysregulated overnight. The goal is not to fix it quickly. The goal is to build capacity with every slow breath that we take, with every supportive conversation, with every time we show up to a group where we can be authentic, where we can be more of ourselves. For every mindful pause or every mindful walk that we take, all of that reduces the overstimulation. And all of that is a deposit into our account of resilience. So your capacity for calm can grow. I'm a big example of that. Neuroplasticity is real, and that we can continue to show up for ourselves as authentic as we are, to serve others and to live this life in the way that we want to see ourselves live it. I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this and if anything resonated with you, and I'll see you soon.